my name is Sorcha and I am an A350 pilot for Virgin Atlantic, and welcome to this simulator where I come every year so that I can improve my skills as an airline pilot, just like every other airline pilot in the world. So I started just like you, knowing nothing about the Airbus until I got onto a flying course. So you're actually going to get a bit of a leg up with this, because I'm going to show you a few different control columns that we use. So first of all, we've got the thrust levers here. So they give power to the engines. So more thrust levers, more power, and pull the thrust levers back, less power. We also have this control column, and this helps us in flight to direct the aircraft. So if I were to pull that back, then the aircraft would pitch up, push it forward, pitch down, and we can also roll it to the left and to the right. We also have the landing gear lever here. So that obviously helps us to bring the landing gear lever down or back up. And little fun fact is that the landing gear lever is actually shaped like a wheel, and that is just to make sure that when you handle that, your muscle memory will kick into action and you will remember that that is indeed the landing gear lever you are holding and nothing else, just to make sure that you are indeed touching the right lever. And some of the other switches that are in this aircraft, I know it can seem a bit overwhelming because there's a lot of them, but actually Airbus has done a really good job to organize them really well according to the systems. So if you look at the overhead panel, you can see that actually you've got the different systems which are spelt out here. So here, for example, is the air system. So all the switches here belong to the air system. And this, for example, this cabin one, will regulate your temperature in the cabin. So this is all the different switches that we would use when we're a pilot. But as I said, it took me a long time to get there, and I knew nothing to start off with. In fact, I didn't know or thought that I would ever become a pilot until I was about 16, 17. And there was an aviation fair that was happening in the fields behind my house. And I loved roller coasters at the time. And I saw a microlight glider and thought, sure, that's going to be exactly like a roller coaster. I should absolutely ask for it to go have a trial flight on it for an early birthday present. But I never thought that it would change my life, and it really did. As soon as I got into that microlight glider, strapped myself in, was on that takeoff roll, going faster and faster with the wind hitting my face, getting really excited. And as soon as we took off, I just felt this huge quiet and peace within myself. I felt as light as a bird, and it suddenly dawned on me that that was where I belonged, among the clouds, the birds looking down on my family, on the wee trees. It was just such a beautiful sight, and I loved being a part of it. So after that, I was hooked really, and I decided that I was gonna become a pilot. But it took me a really long time, lots of motivation, lots of hard work, lots of time. In fact, I failed to get onto a flying course about 5 times before finally making it. But I can promise you that is worth all of the hard work and the wait. Because as soon as I became a pilot and I was flying in one of these, I just felt so grateful and so privileged to be here, to be able to do the job that I love so much. So if there's any recommendation that I've got, is that if you have an inkling that you're interested in becoming a pilot, just give it a go. Just take that first step to go to an Aero club, just watch the aircraft, speak to the people there, and maybe the next step can be to actually get onto a trial flight. Lots of people do trial flights for their first time, and the instructors will be used to it. So just ask any questions that you've got. It is so normal not to know much in the beginning. But you'd be surprised at how many skills you already have which could make you a great pilot. Say for example, you get told in class that you talk too much. But that's actually communication, so that's not a bad thing. And that's really important as a pilot. Maybe you also help your parents or your friends to work their way around a computer or their mobile phones or the TV. Well, that's actually problem solving and understanding automation or technology, which, as you can see from all of this, is really critical as a pilot. And maybe you have some team activities or sports that you do at the weekends. That is team working. And that is so vital when you're a pilot and you need to work with your fellow colleagues or your cabin crew or your ground staff. So, biggest advice is just give it a go. You never know what it will spur on for you, and hopefully in years to come it will be one of you that I'll be sat next to and you'll be telling me how much you love this job and you're glad that you took that first step.